Like something wrong with them young women.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All righty, so time here in SVG, it is 7:45, and we have Kingsley DeFreitas on the line with us. Kingsley, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning to you. I was asked a question by you yesterday if I miss morning radio. And I told you yes, because that's how I felt. But it was confirmed yesterday when I came off, had an agenda, and in the afternoon, my phone just ringing like a PBC. Oh, ba. They enjoy yesterday and how they. So I feel intimately involved in your program, and I think it was a good exchange. And I always say to you that I am attracted to your style of dealing with people. I noticed a couple of days ago, one of my radio friends wanted to take a beating than me, and you didn't agree with it because he did not make the link. And he called yesterday, and I demonstrate some respect for him and maturity for your listenership. Yes, I was tempted to respond to him, but I don't think it was the right place to have a battle royal at the radio station. So I just thought to thank you for your entertainment. I thought it was fruitful. And if I'm coming back, of course I'm coming back. Until they show me how I'll come back. But I really enjoyed it yesterday. I thought it was fruitful. And it's good to see that persons still listening to the activity this morning. Although I felt I was ceremonially thrown off by Crystal. But I think it was well, and I really had a nice time with you yesterday. And I keep my commentary as simple as possible. So when Josh called, he could make a link and don't sound like he did on Monday. Anyhow, you have a wonderful day, and I'll probably talk to you sometime tomorrow, okay?
All right, Kingsley.
Okay,
take care, have a good one, and be safe. All right, so that was Kingsley with his commentary for today. Just a commentary on our interactive program yesterday, where he co-hosted with me. And yes, Kingsley, I did enjoy the program of having you as co-host as well. What it is, I know that you're typically controversial, and I actually don't have a problem with your type of personality. As I've said before, it's kind of easy for me to engage with people, even persons I don't always agree with. And I did enjoy the interaction that we had yesterday, right? The conversation was able to flow smoothly. We were able to just go back and forth on our different points, so, and I generally like conversations. So I did enjoy it. So of course I look forward to you being back with us soon. All right. So Kingsley, your friend is on. Good morning, Joshua.
Good morning. Nicole.
Joshua. Let's do this together. Nicole or Nicole. But if you want to say Nicole, is fine. Nicole.
Joshua, whatever works for you.
Good. You see, I like that.
But you can't see Nicola. Her name is not Nicola.
After all of these years, I think what's your name again? Roleza. I think Roleza would understand that names don't mean nothing to me. Nicole, I'll tell you something, right? When I got married over 40 years ago, I forgot my wife's name at the altar. So why should I be concerned about remembering anybody else's name?
Because names are important, Joshua. And mispronunciation is a thing. Her name is simple. As I could understand, not understanding mine, but her name is simple.
I am.
So we're going to
make.
So you're going to make a concerted effort to try to remember it, right?
I am like a dog. A lot of dogs think that the name is Hey You. Right? Anyway, I'm not here to make friends, right? I love talk radio. I've been in talk radio for many, many, many years. But what I want to say, because today's my date day, Nicole, I have a date day every Wednesday with a married woman every Wednesday. The issue of what you guys started talking about this morning is something that is very passionate for me. I have personally seen women take their young girls, their little girls, and hang out in that place and behind the old library. You know, there's is it called Heritage Square?
Okay,
Where they have all these little bars where they sell drink, and underage girls, children hanging out with their mothers. Mothers, your daughters are not your friends. You do not compete with them. They hang out late nights, and Nicole raised made the suggestion that these places should be held accountable. Little children are not supposed to be hanging around bars, and I see quite often in St. Vincent. This is no hearsay. I see it quite often, and therein lies the problem. Women want to be their daughter's friends. You hardly ever see a man take his little boy to a bar, and that seems to be acceptable in St. Vincent. So we have to nip it in the bud. The children go around, when they hang around with all these sick men, and I'm telling you, you see some girls under 10 years old, and they look really mature. The onus is on us as men to be more responsible and not hit on these little girls. The problem is not going to go away if we just keep talking about it. We have to act on it. If the police see little girls hanging around bars, pick up the mothers, lock them up overnight. It's all about accountability. And yes, Kingsley, I got to be me. I am not here to make friends. I call it as I see it. If you deserve a kiss, I would ask Roleza to give you a kiss. If you deserve a kick in the butt, I would do that myself. Have a great day.
All right. To you as well, Joshua. Have a good one.
Same to you, Joshua.
All righty. Any additional thoughts, Nicole, with anything that Joshua said?
Yes. The thing is, I hear about the mothers and girls, but sometimes the boys are the bars unsupervised without an adult. Because we always feel boys will be okay, boys will fight for themselves, defend themselves. But sometimes there are many boys that are so vulnerable that they end up in the wrong company as well.
Okay. We have a call, Nicole. Hi, Kojo, morning. Morning.
I just have to make one point. Alcohol and discipline doesn't work together. They're not friends. You can't put drunk people with young people and all kind of thing and expect discipline. That doesn't work. So the mere fact that they're drinking, I mean, people who know when you're drunk, you don't really have much control. You don't even think. So, I mean, what? Everybody should have an age limit. I don't care if it's in public or what. Alcohol should not be sold to minors. And anybody who's serving it should be arrested. They have to make drastic moves, serious move in order to stop this thing. I know they say, police can't be in every corner, but trust me, if they start doing it like that, the world will go around and people will not stop. Yes, kids will always get wrong still, because if the mother home and show people, they will keep a little something in the house and they might steal from the parents. But openly going to buy rum, because I used to buy rum for myself, for my dad, and my as a little kid, I'll go in and say, I want to pick your rum, and they won't even blink an eye, they'll sell it to me. And I was pretty young. You go and buy cigarettes. Your parents send you.
Yeah.
People know your parents send you. So the parents themselves have to stop sending people to buy rum, send the kids to buy rum, because you don't know when the kid buy it for themselves or for the parent.
Yeah.
So parents, shopkeeper, them should, that's the first place it needs to be stopped.
Yeah.
No alcohol should be sold to certain age group.
To minors.
Here. Yeah.
Agreed.
And once you go there, then you move down the ladder.
All right.
And start making people, All right.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Coach. You just wanted to add that bit.
Roleza, the other thing is this, right? Sometimes depending on the socioeconomic and of course just the socialization in a household, some parents give their children access to alcohol and cigarettes to sell.
Or to sell. I was going to say even to consume.
To consume, yes, but also to create an economic, an economic opportunity for the household.
All right. There was a point, I think, stemming from what Joshua was saying, that, he made a reference to women liming with their daughters, let's say at Heritage Square, and you will not necessarily see a man liming with his son at a bar. However, there can actually be instances where the father would buy it for the son. They may not be liming in the bar together, but because for many of these children, in order for them to get their hands on the alcohol in the first place, it's an adult who is actually purchasing it and introducing it to them.
And introducing it to them in the first place.
Right. So it's not necessary to just target, let's say, the women in terms of the liming, but there is also that situation of adults, whether it's a man or a woman, also introducing the alcohol to these children by buying it for them as well. Yeah. All right. So I think we may have exhausted that topic. Nicole, I don't know if you just want to head into a bit on the TnT giving a blow to the US.
Well,
you want to touch on it a little bit?
We could touch on it a little bit because it's still so delicate and so controversial. And the thing is, we have to understand something. Sovereignty is a thing that once it gets out of one's hands, there are going to be repercussions, right? So of course, it's not just about an island that is representing itself on its own. It's an entire region. And so many, and I will count myself as one of them, are actually also wondering, what is the CARICOM dialogue? Did it happen? Will it happen? Has it happened? It didn't happen, we know.
All right, you know what? Let me just introduce it a little bit in case persons might be lost as to what we're talking about. Yes. All right. So from CNC 3 p.m., which is Kamala Persad-Bissessar, says that she backs U.S. warship in the Caribbean. All right. So Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has declared TNT's full support for the U.S. as American warships enter the Caribbean to target Latin American drug cartels. In a statement made, I believe, on Saturday, a day before the scheduled arrival of the vessels, Persad-Bissessar said her government has no hesitation in welcoming U.S. assistance to combat drug trafficking. She says Trinidad and Tobago has been helplessly drowning in blood and violence for the last 20 years. VP J.D. Vance spoke the truth when he mentioned high murder and crime rates. Therefore, no amount of Trump derangement syndrome tantrums and anti-American propaganda will prevent my government from welcoming assistance to combat the terrorist drug cartels, she said. All right, now there is a part here where she said that is important for us to read. So the Prime Minister noted that the government would not be engaging CARICOM on this issue, adding that each member state can speak for itself. She also dismissed suggestions that the country had been pressured into allowing the deployment. All right. So that is the backing or the essence of what it is. In this same article, she also said that the country, which is Trinidad and Tobago, would also allow U.S. access, if necessary, to defend the Guyanese territory in the event that they're attacked by the Maduro regime. All right. What has been Trini's response to this, though? How have they felt about it?
So, of course, there are a lot of sentiments, plenty, right? First and foremost, from my perspective, and a lot of folks, the concern is about have we spoken regionally? Have we spoken as a region? And to me, that'll be the biggest takeaway because of the fact that unified as a region inside of the CARICOM space, I think the other islands needed to have any kind of input possible. We cannot identify as a region called the Caribbean and then take actions that do not feel regionally engaging. That's me, right? Personal perspective. A lot of folks, the sentiments on the ground comes back to that lack of communication, engagement, dialogue. And then, of course, the fears of what might happen in terms of should there be any worst case scenarios. Yes, we have a major drug problems. Yes, we've had lots of blood on the streets, lots of carnage. And this is a time where if we get help, yes, the whole region needs help. However, I think that there's still that need for dialogue. I really, really feel so. I mean, how else? How else to resolve something that affects the entire region, except with inclusion?
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I think it's always interesting when we hear Mrs. Fasad Bissessa speaking, and in this case, she's blatantly saying that countries can speak for themselves. She's not engaged in CARICOM, but this is a regional issue. This is a regional matter, and you know, like how we had that the whole discussion last Friday regarding the young brother situation and a flag being missing, and you know how we feel a way about these things, right? It's almost the same way whenever one country takes a particular position as a region without the inclusion in terms of conversation or dialogue with everyone else. We feel a way about it, and we don't want to. And it's interesting, because it may not be us citizens against Trinidad and Tobagonians, but it's against leaders, a leader's position, right? Because we may not feel happy about this. And one of the other things that I also wanted to just talk about. So yes, I can understand us seeking or getting the assistance from the U.S. in helping to combat the drug trafficking.
And we need it. We definitely need it.
Right. And I'm not saying that we don't need it. But one of the other things for me as well is what pressure is being placed on the U.S. to prevent the drugs that are, but not so much the drugs that are coming here, but the guns that are coming back into our territories. We don't make guns in the region. Or as far as I know, guns aren't being made here in the region. How are they coming into our ports? How are they coming into our territories? What strict measures are being put in place? Is the U.S. also trying to put pressure on the U.S. to try to secure their borders, to ensure that these guns and other things are not coming to us here in the region? So it's one thing for you to say, okay, yes, you're going to welcome the U.S., etc., but it's another thing as well to say, okay, well, it has to be mutual in a sense where we are also going to see some sort of benefit or some sort of gain from their involvement here with us in the region.
And the hope is that there will be, right? Let's hope. But the other thing is this, and for me as well, if CARICOM had a dialogue and they all disagree, at that point you could say, okay, well, they all disagree, but I'm going ahead. But the fact that there was no opportunity, I feel like that's not what the region wants or needs right now. We're volatile. We all have the same problems. We all have more severe problems depending on our geography. And so this was actually a rich opportunity to engage the US support, yes, but collectively, if we had to, and make it, that more encouraging for everyone to either on board or challenge why.
Okay. All right. So we have a call. This call, okay, I could still have 2 minutes, I think. All right, Dave, you have a minute because we actually overtime, but a minute, please.
Yes. Listen to all this back and forth and the different kind of vibes coming out from our Caribbean. No wonder why we had more developed countries and less developed countries, the bigger territories and the small island people and all of this. What does that tell us? Huh?
Well,
what does that tell us?
I want to jump in here for a second, please.
Okay, go ahead, Nicole.
And I love that question because I'll tell you something. And I was having this conversation just recently with a client and a colleague. we have allowed bigger countries to refer to us as small island states. And I don't know if you understand that actual reference and what it means to us. But if you go to global conferences, we, all of us, the entire Caribbean, as well as some countries in Oceania and other territories wherein there are islands, we are referred to as small island states. And SIDS, which stands for Small Island Developing States. And I have a challenge with that because I keep saying we are small islands in big oceans. And big oceans have many, many great opportunities for trade, for development, and for all these other things. So why are we considered small islands? And we probably called each other that for many years. But on the micro level, where there is global organization looking at even funding and all of these things, that's how we're referenced.
Okay. All right, Dave, at 20 seconds, please, because we're really over time.
Well, yeah, I raised a question too because hence the reason why Kamala Prasad-Bissessar could say what she wants to say. When our Prime Minister feels he has to jump in or butt in, he'll say what he wants to say. And the whole thing is laughable. If we are operating or functioning as a Caribbean region and we want it to be a zone of peace, come on. We have to be sensible. We have to be more sensible. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much, Dave. Yes. All right. So with that, we are going to head on out. At this time, it is 8:06, and our time check came to the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home. And just a reminder that around 8:10, we will be conducting an interview with Dianna and her team, who are at Carifesta 15 at this time.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a fact of life,